Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited because we change our clocks tomorrow here in Melbourne, Victoria. We've got daylight savings. It's going to give us an extra hour or so of daylight every day. It's going to be beautiful. And today's really nice weather. It's 27 degrees outside and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. Feeling very, very blessed, and also feeling very blessed for all the new listeners. Welcome so much to the show. I hope you love it. Go back and listen to some of the other episodes. You'll hear the podcast since its inception has gone through a few facelifts and a few changes. It actually began as a podcast all about manifesting, and now it's morphed into a combination of manifesting with private practice. So yes, there's lots of good content in the back catalogue if you'd like to go back through it. It used to be called Manifest Change as well, and then it had another evolution and it became more business focused, and it was called Business Acceleration, and now it's in its current evolution, which is Private Practice with Soul. So I think what I've been able to do is start the journey all about spirituality and manifesting, and then I've flipped over into the business side, and now I've brought the two together with Private Practice with Soul. So no matter what your inclination is, I'm sure you'll find something in the back catalogue to tickle your fancy there. But anyway, today what I wanted to talk with you about was fear. And fear is something, as you know, that we all experience. I think if you don't know how to handle fear, you're going to have a really hard time in private practice because, as you just heard, you're going to be constantly going through an evolution in the business. As you, learn more, you grow more. And it's like, children, they grow and they outgrow their clothes, right? Just like I outgrew the Manifest Change podcast. I outgrew that and I grew into something else, which was more of a business focus. And I stayed there for a while, and then I learned more and I embodied more and I outgrew that, and it became Private Practice with Soul. And you know what? I'll be in this space for a little while, but I'm still learning more like you are, and I'm still growing more like you are. And at some point in the future, maybe this podcast is going to change direction again. And that's okay. Like, evolution happens and it's a sign of your growth. And the reason that I want to share this with you is because in some of the coaching work that I've done this week, there's been two themes that have popped up. One is being afraid of change, like, what if this doesn't work out? But then on the flip side of that, somebody else was like, oh my gosh, all my dreams are about to come true and I'm scared of that. Like, what if my dreams actually do come true? What then, Brooklyn? That's a whole other conversation. So it's been fear. And then the other thing that's come out this week has been around organization. So I mean, like, getting your stuff organized. And I could talk about either of these two topics really. Just quickly, I don't know what it was. I do a lot of moon manifesting. I'm putting a program together for moon manifesting at the moment. They'll be released soon. I'll let you know the details if you're interested. But I don't know. I think maybe it's just energetically. For some reason, every morning I wake up and I have this little morning ritual. I ask myself the same 3 questions every morning. And one of those is, how do I want to feel today? And what's been coming through almost every single morning is I've been wanting to feel more organized. Now, I'm not disorganized. I'm a Virgo. I'm very organized. I've got German blood in me. I'm very organized. But I was just thinking maybe I needed to do something a little bit differently, and it was like this compulsion that I had. So what I've been able to do is around my work commitments and obligations, I've been allocating some time to review my systems and my processes and just see how I could make my life easier. And so I've made some tweaks. I've introduced some automations and have been trialing them this week. And oh my gosh, it's just taken so much off my plate that I didn't even realize was on my plate. And so that's been really, really great. And then as I've been talking to other private practice owners, they've also been saying, well, I want to get more organized. And they're also just, have felt inspired in their own businesses and lives to share with me about what they've been doing. So it seems to be like a whole bunch of us were in the mood to get organized this week for some reason. Normally, my intention for the day is more about how I want to show up for people and how I want to, I don't like the word serve, but you know what I mean, how I want to help people and how I want to assist and support and things like that. But yeah, for some reason, every day this week it was about, I want to be more organized. So anyway, that's all done. But the other thing is this issue of fear. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of staying where we are. And here's what I want to share with you. If you have been listening for a while, you understand about masculine and feminine energy now. And if you don't, I invite you to go back to some of those previous episodes and we discuss it a little bit more. If you want to know more about it, of course, just send me an email and I can absolutely send you some info. But I believe like that masculine energy is all around ambition and its goals and its achievement. It's the doing energy, okay? And the feminine is the being energy. And the feminine energy is all around communication, connection, love, nourishing, nurturing, being creative, being in her flow, doing what feels right in the moment, being guided by her intuition, being body aware. Body aware meaning is very aware of tingles, tweaks, changes, niggles that she experiences in different places of her body that represent different things for her. And she runs with that, she trusts all of that. But then part of what's going on too is we've got this issue around ego. And ego, I love ego. I don't think ego gets a very good deal at all in a lot of the literature, but I believe that one of the functions of ego, I should say, is to keep us really safe and alert us to risk. And it's not to stop you from doing anything. That's not what ego is there for. Ego is like a notification that just says, wait, we need to be careful here. It's like the occupational health and safety inspector. He's just sort of saying, right, this might not be safe. It could be, make your own decision. It's like a little caution. That's all it is. But what happens is some of us read that caution and we think, oh, I better not do it because these things could happen. It's like when you read side effects on, medicine or something like that. You know how it's got like hundreds of things that could happen to you if you take this vitamin or if you take this aspirin pill or something like that. And some people will read all of those things and they'll say, oh, this is too risky, I'm not going to take that aspirin. And they'll suffer through a migraine or they'll suffer through a really bad headache. But the point of the instructions there is to just bring it to your attention that these things may be possible, but you get to choose what you want to do. Like, do you want to get rid of the pain of that headache? Or do you want to retain the pain of the headache but not have any of the risk? And I think when you're running a business, you need to be able to recognize that because you've got to have your business head on. And being a private practice owner means you have to be able to confidently evaluate risk. And I think that's one of the things that we don't learn when we're at uni and we're learning how to be social workers and counsellors and psychologists and coaches and things like that. Nobody ever really teaches us about risk and how to manage that. And so what happens is our mind kind of defaults to whatever we've been conditioned to think in terms of scary things or, fearful things. And so if your default is to, get out, if it's to shut down, if it's to run away, that's a flight response. If you're going to, weigh it up and you decide that it's a risk worth calculating, then you're going to step forward. Yep. And then there are going to be some of you that just kind of get stuck in the middle for a little while until something happens. And so I want to walk you through a process that could help you if you do find that you're caught up in the inertia of indecision as a result of fear. And so it's a really cool technique, and you can use it with so many different things, and I do. But today I'm going to use it for helping you work through fear. So all you need to do really is just grab a piece of paper, and you can either fold it in half if you like, or you can just draw a line down the middle. But basically you just want two columns. On one side you're going to write, at the top you're going to write what the issue is. Okay, so maybe it's like hiring somebody, hiring a VA, hiring my next team member. Maybe it's going to be moving into new premises and signing a lease. Maybe it's going to be leaving a premises. Okay, but on one side you're going to write fear, on the other side you're going to write love. Okay, so on the fear side, all you're going to do is just stream of consciousness writing about all the angst, all the worry, all the doubt, all the fear that's coming up for you around this issue. Just free write. Okay, don't worry about spelling and grammar and if it looks pretty. You know, doing this work's messy. Nobody expects it to look pretty, and nobody's going to see it anyway. But the function of this first column is to allow you to have a little bit of a brain dump and get rid of it all. Okay. When you've done that, what I want you to do is like take a moment and just honor yourself for being courageous enough to write all of that down. Because here's the thing, when we take something from our mind and we put it down on paper, it suddenly can feel really real, can't it? Because it's there in black and white. You've manifested. It's right there in the world now as a thing. It's not just invisible in your mind. So let's take a moment to honor that. And I just want you to, take a breath in and out. Okay, and connect into the intention of, love. So maybe set the intention to connect with your heart space or your soul space or your higher power or your higher consciousness or God or whomever it is. Maybe it's a guide, maybe it's spirit, okay? But set the intention to connect with that energy, all right? Because we want to help you drop from your head down to your heart, okay? And so in order to do that, we just want to shift your perspective a little bit so that we can see things differently. When you feel like you're in that energy of your heart space, what we want to do is go to the second column. The second column is for love, and we want to write down all of the things that come to mind that love would say about this situation. What would your higher consciousness say about this dilemma that you're experiencing? What would your spirit guide say? What would God say? What would your higher power say? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's coming through from that loving heart space? And all you're going to do, again, is just stream of consciousness, free write that all out. Get it all down on paper until you've finished. And then all we're going to do is just take a breath in again, slowly in and out. And you're just going to sit in that heart space for a moment. Just allow yourself to be fully grounded in that loving energy, okay? So if you get stuck and you're not quite sure what your heart space or your soul or higher consciousness or whoever or whomever it is that you're accessing would say, maybe you could ask, what would love say about this situation, okay? What would God say to me about this situation? What is a more loving perspective for this situation? What is my inner guidance telling me as a woman? What's my, divine feminine wisdom telling me about this situation? Okay? So there's some ideas that you can start to use that are very practical and as I said, we go into this in a lot more detail in the private practice method, but this is like a little sample, if you like, of how we work through fear. But I just wanted to share this with you so that you could start to move through fear yourself in your private practice. And you know what? This approach, this strategy of the 2 columns with the questioning and everything is a really, 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 really powerful approach to use. But in order to get maximum benefit from it, of course, you need to have I prefer that you have a sacred space. A sacred space isn't religious. A sacred space is just a space where it's just yours. It can be a little table in the room somewhere that you make just your own. It's got your teacup on it. It's got your favorite photo. It's got a little fresh posy of flowers on it. It's got a little oil diffuser or a candle, and it's got some nice music playing, and it's just your little corner of the world. Nobody else ever goes there. Nobody else bothers you there. This is like it's called a sacred space because it's all about you. It's where you go for guidance, for nourishment, for information, for love, for all of those sorts of things. Okay, so you really want to have that space. And this isn't an exercise that you can rush. You know, if you give this exercise time, then you will get more from it than if you try and do it in 5 minutes. It's not something that you can do in between clients. Because I know that some of you are doing these things in between clients. I guess you could do it in a no-show or a cancellation, because that would be more than enough time. But you might not be in your sacred space if you're at the office. Anyway, I really, 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 really hope that you find this, powerful. It's going to help you cultivate a deeper relationship with your inner guidance, with cultivating trust within yourself, and it's going to help you cultivate a stronger connection to, whatever energy it is that you really like to connect with, whether that's the energy of love, or the energy of your intuition, or the energy of a higher purpose or a higher power or something like that. So please let me know how you found this activity, if it helped you. I would love to hear about that. I'll put my email address in the comments, so send me an email anytime. You can also connect with me on social. My Instagram is at Dr. Brooklyn Storme. My Facebook is Dr. Storme PhD. Come along and get more good content. And thank you so much for listening today. Have a lovely day, guys. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.